Welcome back. In this section, we're just going to keep continuing and seeing how far we get on the basic overall shape of our car. And what I want to do just before we begin is show you guys how to make shortcuts of some of your tools just to help speed up the tutorial a little bit. And what I mean by shortcuts is making these little icons that are a little bit easier to access and a little bit faster. So to make one of these, what you want to do is pick something that you want to make a shortcut of, say create NURBS polygon or something like that. So I'm going to go create, I'm going to hold down my shift control alt button at the same time, polygon primitives, and let's just say we're going to make a sphere. And you see that it just pops up. And that way we can just click it and create a sphere. And that's how you make a shortcut. And that should help us speed up a little bit. Now I have a couple shortcuts up here, like my X-ray, which is an actual plugin that you need to get off the internet. It's called Toggle X-ray. And it's a mail script that you have to put into your mail folder to get it to work. So if you see me hitting that and you can't seem to get it to come up on your icon, just remember it's a mail script. And you can always do it the old-fashioned way, which is just shading, shade options, X-ray. So let's continue. We left off by doing our rounded edges for our tires. What I want to do now is just kind of come to the front here where it gets a little bit tricky and just kind of get that all sorted out just a little bit and get everything merged together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that piece that we made, that little extra piece, and I'm going to convert it into a polygon. So just like we did in the last section. So I'm going to go convert NURBS to polygons. I'm going to move the poly out of the way and I'm going to delete the NURBS and move the new poly back into position. And I'm also going to do that to the hood. So I'm going to go modify, convert, NURBS to polygons again, and then just move the hood back into place. I'm going to hide my image planes just for a little bit, just so it's a little bit easy to see, as well as my grid, because we don't really need the grid anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using my split polygon tool to start matching up part of this geometry here, so that we can start getting a nice conversion into each other. Like I said, this part gets a little tricky, but it's not too difficult. I'm going to select that little area that we made. I'm going to grab my split polygon tool, which is Edit NURBS Split Polygon Tool. And I'm going to turn on my X-ray, and I'm going to draw a new line here, and I'm going to match up the areas I want to match up. So now I can right click and select the edge here of this piece and delete them. Now, important to remember when you're deleting edges is Maya likes to leave behind the old vertices. So you always have to go in there and delete the ones you're not going to use. Split polygon tool again, and we're just going to move this over here. And basically wherever I see an edge on my hood is I'm going to put an edge roughly in the same area on my little extra piece that we made. And now we can go along and delete all the little edges that we don't need anymore. And make sure you remember to delete the old lines and vertices. So you should be left with something like that. So now what we can do is we can make sure that everybody's going to line up nice and clean and close to each other. And we're going to turn on our wireframe on our top view and grab our vertices by right clicking and we're going to make sure that these guys are nice and close. add some lines to our hood in a minute so that we can connect these. And what we're going to do, just to help speed things up, is we're actually going to connect it and then we're going to cut it back up after. That way everything's going to be seamless and connect really well. It's kind of like moving a step backwards to move a step forward type of philosophy. So once we have our two parts pretty much equal there, we're going to select our hood, and this is all new, and we're going to shift select our little piece. We're going to go Polygons Combine, and that basically just tells Maya that we want to combine this into one piece of geometry. But before we do that, what we're going to do is draw two quick lines. Here so that these guys can merge up as well, because we don't want that little gap there. And now we can right click and select vertices where we want to merge, and we're going to go Edit Polygons, Merge Vertices. And we're just going to go along a little line, and you can see that they start snapping together, becoming one piece of geometry. And again, just if you're having a hard time seeing what you're going to merge, just turn on your X-ray. X-ray is really, really cool, and you'll use it all the time. We're going to grab our Sculpt Polygon tool. It works the same as Sculpt NURBS tool, and it's under Edit Polygons near the bottom. Sculpt Polygons tool. Double click it, make sure that smooth is on, and we're just going to smooth out some of our work here right off the bat. And what we need to do now is we're going to merge and cut out so that these two areas will combine where the fender is, or the outside of the fender, on the main part of our side. And to do that, again, we're just going to go into our top view. We're going to grab our Split Polygon tool, and this is going to get really ugly really fast, but it'll sort itself out pretty quickly. So I'm just going to draw a line right where that little piece comes out a little bit farther. Say to about there. And then we're going to cross section it. Down to there for now. I'm going to right click, select the faces of just the areas where it's cut out a little bit. And you see how that works. We keep the same shape, but we're starting to build all the areas we're going to need to start merging in a little bit and start flattening out. Now, just like we did for the two first parts that we did, we're going to add some lines here so that we can start getting the shape that we need. And we actually need to add some more lines up here. And everybody else looks pretty close. We can just change the direction of this guy a little bit here. Actually, we'll start off here. So he comes nice and straight to there. And this is pretty much what's going to happen for most of the rest of the tutorial until we start adding detail. And the detail will start changing a lot of these lines as well. So it's kind of like I said, it's kind of moving backwards, it kind of looks like, because the model will get really ugly looking. But at the same time, the changes that you're making that are making it look a little bit funny are changes that are actually going to help achieve all the little cutouts and all the little edges that you see in the car. So I'm just changing this one up a little bit here so this will merge nice and quickly. And like I said, this is all going to get cut up to put so that you can open up the trunk and stuff like that anyway, but we want to make sure that we grab and we have the correct shape right off the bat. Shape and proportion are the most important things to any model, whether it's organic or hard surface. If you nail the shape and proportion, the detail will automatically come pretty much on its own with a lot less effort than trying to do all the detail right off the bat.